Hi, and welcome back to the I'll Try That podcast, part 2 of our low alcohol and no alcohol beer segment for this January. So this week we're going to be doing 3 beers, one that me and Joe both have, which is the Infinity Pale Session Fresh AF alcohol-free beer. I'm going to be looking at Adnams Ghost Ship, low alcohol. And Joe, what's your third one that you've got?
I have the Big Drop Brewing Co. and it's their Galactic Milk Stout, alcohol-free.
Nice. Okay, so once again, we have to apologise for Simo not being here, but his gym phase has gone, and he's decided to take up puzzling.
Yeah, he's in full puzzle mode right now. He's got so into it that he's wearing like a proper like Riddler's outfit, but it's with a slight different, with a load of different puzzles on it, and he calls himself the Puzzler.
Jack, his girlfriend, is getting thoroughly annoyed because every time she has to get in, she has to solve a puzzle to get through the front door to get in.
Yeah, and then he cackles in the background and goes, and she's like, "Why, Simo? Why are you doing this?" "It's because I'm their puzzler."
And she's just like, "Simo, the ice cream is melting."
"But you've got to solve the puzzle to get into the ice cream, into the freezer."
So, once again, we've just left him to it to crack on with puzzling, and we'll see where he is, if he's going to rejoin us next week.
So this is Infinite Session Ale, as it goes round and round and round. That kind of play on words with it just keeps on going. They're all alcohol-free, their beers, and they have an IPA, an Indian Pale Ale, and they have an APA, an American Pale Ale, and they have, by the looks of things, a craft lager as well, a Pilsner craft lager.
And these are all non-alcoholic?
All the beers are non-alcoholic. So this company was set up very recently, actually, in the last couple of years. We can maybe fact check it. You can find out the exact date of when they got set up. But they have been set up with the mind of always just providing non-alcohol-free versions. So they're claiming that it needs to actually taste like beer. So it's brewed to taste like your favourite craft beers. It's low calories, so 75% less than a regular strength beer. So that's a big claim there, 75% less than a regular beer. It's not too sweet, it's trying to be, and it's very vegan.
Well, that's pretty good. I've just taken a look, and as far as I can tell, there wasn't anything on the website, but I did deep dive on their Instagram account, and I found a post, and it said celebrating 2 years of us being in production. So I believe that's around about 2018, give or take, when they kind of went in.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very new company. Again, build on this back of this trend. There are a lot of new entrants into this low alcohol or no alcohol. Now, this is a low alcohol. It's 0.5 or under 0.5% ABV. That's how they claim it. So I can't say it's alcohol. I mean, it is alcohol free in that sense, but it still has a little bit in it. I mean, you probably shouldn't give it to a baby.
No, that's probably a rule to live by.
So this Infinite Sessions Pale Ale has only got 36 calories in it.
Isn't that the lowest calorie one we've tried so far?
I think so, because Freestar was like 62 or something.
Yeah, something along those lines, which is pretty good.
I've got a great quote here from Men's Health magazine about their Pilsner.
I can honestly say I've never read Men's Health.
Oh, come on. It's the one where it has, like, Simo last week with his abs out, when he was his gym phase. Okay, so, Men's Health's quote, "This solid Pilsner is lightly bready and full of herbaceous hops. Hits the spot after a hard workout. 82 out of 100.
That's a pretty high score, 82 out of 100, to be hint up.
I mean, when you've just finished up a hard workout, go grab yourself an Infinite Session Pale Ale. That does work. You do want a beer. You need to reward yourself after you've done a hard workout.
Well, that's it. Well, next time I've ran 10k, I won't drink any water. I will hydrate straight with one of these.
Yeah, I think you should just have this Infinite Session Pale Ales like kind of coolers as you're running along. You can, in your water bottle, running around. You should have people at different stations and stops with these beers and like in plastic cups. And then you like drink it and then you throw it all over yourself like all the runners do.
Also, did you just hear that I dropped that I ran 10k?
It was so natural, I just moved straight past it. Right, let's get on the beer. So, Rich, tell me what you're smelling in this. What are you smelling?
So this is the most pleasant smelling one that's hit my nostrils out of the low alcoholic ones that we tried so far. I'm getting a citrusy smell coming right off the top, and it smells hoppy as well, which is really. It smells like an IPA, which I think is a bonus because that's what they're trying to sell us.
Well, this is their pale ale version, isn't it? The American pale ale version. they're trying to do. But you're absolutely right in that it smells, and this is the kind of the premise about this company. They said they love beer, but they hate hangovers. So the whole premise is about trying to, instead of taking that, unlike alcohol-free beers in the past, Infinite Session is unrestrained. I don't know what that really means. So, they really are saying that they are beer lovers, but they hate hangovers. So they've been working on the premise of trying to create and kind of flip this alcohol-free, perception on its head. So whereas before alcohol-free, was seen as kind of like restricting, you're trying to take things away so that you can have a beer that's alcohol-free, whereas they're trying to make this seem as unrestricted. It's all about the fact that you can do whatever you like with this beer. You can enjoy the beer. There's no holds bar. I mean, I guess it goes back to its name. It's Infinite Session. It's endless. It's not trying to stop you from doing anything. So you can still have a great tasting, beer, but it's not about the alcohol. So they even say that they believe that beer is bigger than booze. So I think, again, you're playing on this word of mouth, these phrases of, beer, you think pissed, you think of booze, you think of all these quite negative words, really. But actually you can think about beer in a very kind of interesting and, kind of no limits kind of way. That actually it's about taste, it's about craft, it's about flavour.
It's a really nice way to look at beer, because we got into this podcast and stuff like that is because we enjoy the taste of beer. We don't go out to go and get drunk and hammered and stuff like that. We can appreciate the taste of beer. We know we can identify what's a good beer and what's a bad beer, sort of thing. And what these guys are doing is they're taking away the sometimes negative effect that alcohol can have, and they're going, right, we're just here to talk about the flavours. We're here to hit you with these really nice flavours, these really punchy flavours that they're coming through, which I think is a good motto to be getting through, and I think a lot of people can jump on board with that this day and age.
Well, I think also, especially, we're in our 30s now. We get hangovers really easily. So having alternatives to something where you can still enjoy the beer, you're not like restricting your lifestyle. You can still go and do what you want to go and do, but then you don't have this horrendous like feeling the next day or the next couple of days, which, happens now. I just look at a lager and I'm like, oh my God, my head. So, you have to kind of think of different ways of, that you can still enjoy your life. And I think this is what they're trying to get across in that beer should be enjoyed, and it's all about the flavour, and it's not about being, thinking, oh, I shouldn't have another one because of X, Y, and Z. It's like, oh no, you can have another one if it's in, like you can have another glass of water.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about all of this. What are your views on the flavour, Joe?
So this is definitely so it's hitting in that pale ale category, isn't it? It's a craft pale ale though, that it's still fizzy rather than like a traditional pale ale, which has got that kind of quite smoothness. This is like quite hot, like fizzy as well. Yeah. It's full of flavour. I really do get this flavour. It's again, my mouth is watering and salivating whilst tasting this, but not in a like it's drying my mouth out way like the citrus can do.
Would you say it's full of flavour? Because I'm coming across slightly differently.
Well, I'd say that the flavour, I'm definitely getting these tropical US hops that they've got in there.
So I'm getting the craft beer and I'm getting the flavour coming across, but I don't find it as punchy as other pale ales that we've had, other ales that we've drunk and what they're trying to replicate. It's nice, but it's not hitting right on the pale ale border. Is my thinking. I think there's room for improvement. I
agree with you, Rich. I think actually it kind of drops off. Like you get that first initial taste, but it very quickly drops off and becomes almost just like water in that sense, in that it loses its flavour.
That is exactly it.
And that's why I think where the salivation was coming in that my mouth is now working extra hard to kind of try and find the flavour in this. So it's like around my mouth, it's definitely going down. That first initial taste is like, oh, that's not, that's a beer. And then it's searching for something. It doesn't have that kind of nice round off that you're looking for in a beer. Yeah.
It's incredible. It is fresh and it is refreshing to drink. It has that nice hit. It has that initial, ooh, this is nice, this is good, but it doesn't last and it doesn't linger like a lot of ales do, a lot of pale ales do. There's no real aftertaste to it, but it's not bad, but it could be better.
Yeah, I think the kind of, to overall on the finish, it's quite dry, but it's really leaving you wanting more. Like you want a bit more from it. You do get that like quite rich, it's kind of meant to have this quite like caramel flavour to it. And I think you do get a bit of the caramel like at the back there, if you kind of wash that around, but it's so slight and it goes away as soon as it's there. It's like a fleeting caramel that comes in.
Yes. It's as though I've licked a caramel, but then it's dropped on the floor.
Yeah, and then you're bitterly disappointed because you probably won't get that caramel again. I'm
not going to eat floor caramel. I'm throwing it out there. I have standards. Floor caramel isn't for me.
What about the 3-second rule though?
I'm quite tall. Takes a while to get down there.
So maybe the 5-second rule then.
Yeah, 5-second rule. So
what are our thoughts on Infinite Session? I like the premise. I like their attitude as a brand, and what they're trying to do for no or low alcohol beer.
I think it's okay. I would like to try some of their other products to kind of do a bit more comparison, because this is the first company we've come across that have a variety of different products that they can work with. So maybe they've done something else, done something a little bit differently. Give it a go, but it's not the best low alcohol beer we've tried so far.
Well, I disagree. Actually, I disagree. I think I enjoy this one as a tropical. It's got that tropical pale ale fashion. I'm more of an ale drinker than I am a lager drinker, and those two lagers that we've had to date have been very different to this. This is very much more in my category, but it's a bit disappointing. I want a bit more from it. Right, Rich, tell me about what are you doing your next one on?
Okay, so we've already drunk Adnams Ghost Ship before. We tried we'll call it the full fat version, the whole alcohol level. What are you smiling at me for?
The full fat version.
So I've got Adnams Ghost Ship, 0.5% citrus pale ale. Adnams was one of the first beers we did way back when we first started the podcast earlier last year. Thinking about it, I'm getting confused with my dates here. So what I'll do is I'll give you my initial smell. Well, it smells like Ghost Ship, which is a bonus. And it tastes like Ghost Ship. So we reviewed Adnams Ghost Ship at the start of the year. And if you can remember, we talked a lot about how it was quite citrusy and quite dry, which is what they're trying to get the citrus through, which is nice. But what they've done with this is they've managed to keep pretty much all the flavour coming through, but it still does dry your mouth out like the last one.
Do you think they've accurately represented Ghost Ship in a 0.5% version?
Yes. I can honestly say they've done a stellar job to create something that tastes, I would say, pretty much exactly the same as the original is fair play, and it's a cracking substitute to put across. So well done, Ghost Ship, on that one.
Now, we did say that Ghost Ship at the end kind of quite dried our mouths out. Are you getting that same kind of feeling with this low alcoholic version?
Yes, I'm getting the same citrusy taste, and I'm getting the more I drink, I'm still getting that dry taste around my mouth.
Okay, so it is very true in keeping with the product, even, the product taste. So talk to us about how they're differentiating this product. So how does it look different to the normal Ghost Ship?
So yes and no. It's same but different would be the saying. So they've kept with exactly the same logo, the big ghoulish ghosty ship on the waters, but what they've done is they've changed the colour. They've gone for a much more kind of like a sunset in the background, a much more kind of gentle looking bottle and colour scheme, which I think then goes along with what they're trying to say with the beer, that it's a bit more chill, not so heavy, and it's a bit more relaxing to drink and for the body.
That's good. And do they say anything about how they make this beer non-alcoholic or low alcoholic in comparison to the normal one?
Oh yeah, I think they've got some of the best describing words to tell them how they do it. So Adnams invested in a de-alcoholizer, and a reverse osmosis plant, which allows the team to brew Ghost Ship 4.5% and take the alcohol out. So
they brew actual Ghost Ship, the normal product, and then they take the alcohol out of it. So again, that's actually quite, from what we're knowing about this non-alcoholic version, that's the very traditional sense of making non or low alcoholic beers, is you make a normal beer and then you take the alcohol out. Yeah, basically. It's like when you cook with red wine. You simmer it out. Shush. I'm getting a bit tipsy off all this non-alcoholic beer. Right, let me do my last one. Let me show you this one.
Got it.
So I'm quite interested, or quite excited to talk to you about Big Drop Brewing Company. Mm-hmm. So these are two friends by the looks of things. They've been around. They started out in October 2016, so very new. And they're actually brewed in Ipswich. So it's a shame Simo's not here, because that's Simo's parents' home, or like kind of family ties back to Ipswich, and Ipswich Town fan for football, which is I'm sure a bit punishing to be one of their fans. So their whole premise is to drink but not to be drunk. So a very similar theme we're seeing. Like Infinite Session had the same thought of it's all about the beer, no hangovers, blah blah blah. So what I like about this company is that this isn't just like they've created, an alcohol-free version just to be a bit on the trend. This company was specifically created to be an alcohol-free company, or a low ABV. And it says their whole principle is that they're never more than 0.5% ABV. All their beers. And I say all their beers, there are a lot of them. You have a Pine Trail Pale Ale, you have an Uptown Craft Lager, you've got a Paradiso Citra IPA, the Galactic Milk Stout, which I'm going to be talking about a bit more, and then you've got a whole selection of Winter Series, Summer Series, you've got a load of different collaborations that they've done with different breweries. They have different porters, they have golden ales. There's honestly, go on their website, there is a plethora of different beers that this company are making, and they're all under 0.5%. So there is going to be a beer that they make that you will enjoy, that for everyone's taste palates, whatever they're going to like. So I'm trying the Galactic Milk Stout because I was intrigued to try a stout before Guinness. Actually, the news you might have heard that Guinness is releasing a 0.0 version of their Guinness. So we'll do that as soon as that hits the shelves. I'm really interested to try that as a Guinness fan. We'll do both side by side. But I wanted to test the waters of this one because I've tried lagers that are non-alcoholic or 0.5%, and I've had ales as well, but I've never had a stout before. So the packaging for this, the Big Drop, they've got a very consistent brand mark, which is, as you imagine, a big drop, like a water droplet. And it just changes colour. So they're using colour really well. So this Milk Stout is a kind of a purple, quite a vibrant purple colour. It's really nice. It's got these kind of swirling kind of graphics all going around the can. So it looks really inviting, actually, all the way through. I'm showing that to you, Rich.
Almost hypnotic.
Almost hypnotic. I like that. So I've poured out as you need to do with the stout, in my opinion, poured out the stout into a glass. See that? What's the colour?
It's very dark, but I'm looking at it. It doesn't look, from the way the glass is, it doesn't look as thick as the normal stout. Would I be right in saying? Yeah,
it doesn't seem as it does seem kind of. Yeah, the viscosity isn't as kind of high. It does seem like a bit of a lower viscosity. The liquid itself is, you can almost, I'm just tipping it a little bit towards the light, and you can almost see through it. Whereas quite a lot of stouts, like especially Guinness, you wouldn't be able to see through that liquid. It's very dark. And the head, the foam head on itself is settled a little bit now, but it's definitely not like a kind of a creamy, big top. It's just got this kind of quite top finish, with that. So on the nose though, I'm getting cocoa straight away. I'm getting that kind of coffee, what you expect from a stout. Kind of nice smelling. Oh. So it definitely is kind of, smells like a traditional stout. So they've nailed that from the smell. So let me just get a bit into the taste. So you definitely get that coffee, and you definitely get that cocoa coming through. So it's as promised with the nose, you're getting that through in the taste palette and what you expect from a stout. So if you're a stout drinker, you're already being very familiar territory with this. So they've nailed it in that sense, in that they've created a 0.5% stout. It's quite well balanced. That bitterness is taken away by a bit of smoothness because they have added lactose into this as well. So it does have that kind of smoothness that comes through with it. So I know we had some Christmas beers, not that, recently, in a couple of episodes ago, and some of these were very some of the porters and the stouts we were having were really high in flavour, but they didn't really have any smoothness to it. This has smoothness. So this is a really palatable stout. And actually, for the viscosity of this, I was expecting it to be quite watery, and it's not watery at all. It's got flavour, a very long flavour.
That's really good. That surprises me, because we've tasted a lot of non-alcoholic beer, and a lot of them tend to be a little bit more watery, and to tend to have maybe lost the full impact of the flavour of a non-alcoholic. But if you're saying it's holding it, that's impressive.
It is. I think this is a really fantastic. This Galactic Milk Stout is a fantastic take on a low alcoholic beer. You know, it's not only does it really, it looks gorgeous in the glass, you know, but that aroma and flavour is delicious, and it really delivers. It delivers on what it's promising. You know, there's nothing that's like missing from this beer. So I'd say actually this could be a really nice, you know, post-dinner treat. You know, maybe like as a dessert, because it is, after all, it's a stout. So it's never going to be a full, you know, one of those imperial stouts, you know, that has those really full flavours. But it's a really good substitute. And maybe it could even be like your guilty-free Sunday, you know, kind of treat.
Okay, I like that. Your guilty-free Sunday whilst having your Sunday bath. That's a
Sunday bath beer. There you go. I think we found a new drinking occasion. Did you
ever used to have a Sunday bath? That'd be you'd always shower through the week and then have your Sunday bath before school.
Yeah, I mean, I used to like also, you know, it was when I was coming up from the pits. You know, I've been working down the mines all week, and you know, I just treat myself. No, I didn't have a special day for a bath. Is that a thing?
That's the thing. Your Sunday bath day.
Or to get you ready for school.
Yeah, before you'd go to school, you'd have a bath. No? Okay.
Not me.
Not you.
At my household, we bathed so infrequently because we were a shower family that we even removed the bath at one point and put a shower and just replaced it with a really nice shower. I think now my parents have gone back to having a bath in there for, I think because of young children, like my nieces, and a bath is more practical for things like that. But yeah, I think it's, I've always been a shower fan. Rarely have baths, I must say.
Ah.
So overall, I'd say with the non-alcoholic or low ABV beers that we've tried, and I'd definitely say anything that's under 0.5%, I'd put into that alcohol-free section.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think legally they can say they're all 0.0% or they're all like that, but you know, this isn't low ABV. You know, like low ABV for me is anything about 2.3% around that mark.
Yeah.
But I'd class this. I'd say Big Drop Brewing Company, the Galactic Milk Stout, definitely if you're a stout fan, give it a go. The Infinite Session Pale Ale, I think both of us agreed that it was a nice novelty. It tasted good for like a couple of seconds, but it just kind of didn't have the finish that we were hoping for.
There just wasn't that finale that I kind of expect from like a specialty selling point, which there just wasn't anything there for it.
And then the Adnams Ghost Ship sounds like it absolutely delivers on the product, the original product. If
you're a Ghost Ship fan and you don't want to have the full fat version, I definitely recommend the 0.5%.
Right, so let's do quick numbers on Instagram. So Infinite Session, they've got 4,217 followers.
So still growing.
Yep, still growing. So, I mean, a newish company. And Big Drop, their Instagram, they have 811 followers. Again, very new still in that setting. But, you know, they might also be, you know, they're growing, I guess.
They're growing.
And we've already covered off, of course, Ghost Ship and Adnams before.
Well, I suppose that's us. That's it for all of the beers that we've been trying, and we hope that you've enjoyed listening to. If you are going to be doing Dry January, and you were looking at something maybe a little bit different, we hope some of these beers have that we might have educated you in some different beers instead of just all of the main name brand ones that are out there.
And definitely keep watching this space and listening to this space, I should say, because we've got some of an old classic in Doom Bar and Old Speckled Hen, and we'll be trying their new versions of their non-alcoholic or low ABV beers as well as part of that to kind of do a bit of a taste test. And we, of course, will be doing Brewdog's non-alcoholic range. They have at least 3 products now that are non-alcoholic or alcohol-free, and we will be talking about those as well.
And fingers crossed we get Simo back, and he's moved on from his puzzling phase.
Puzzling phase, yeah. I think he was talking about going to space in the next episode, maybe.
To space.
So we'll have to see. We'll have to watch this. Have to watch this space.
And
that's all we have time for from this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe, Rich,
and Simo,
goodbye. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now. Always drink responsibly, and if you or anyone else needs some help, go to drinkaware.co.uk for more information.